What's up, everyone? This is another replay from the Endless Dappathon live stream that happened this past Sunday. Is my mic volume okay? This mic I use is always a little quiet.
No, it sounds fine to me.
Good. Okay.
You got all the professional equipment.
Oh, I got the professional belt, the meme champ.
Hey, everyone.
Meme champ.
Yes, man. Can you hear me?
The champion of the memes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear Max. Max is good. Benny is there.
Hi, do you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Good,
now can you guys hear each other?
I hear everyone.
Same so. Everything is working.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I hear you, Max. Loud and clear.
I'm in. It's working for me, brother. How are you? How you doing, Benny? Are you good? You good?
Doing great.
So right, so
I
this
think
session's
you're
gonna
taking
actually
like most of the reins on this one, aren't you,
LiquidApps.
Zack, for the interview?
Me, I'm interviewing my own company.
All right.
We're stacking the cards here.
I thought it was Switchio next, or is it filling in with? Oh yeah, so we got Ben.
Yeah, Switchio's gonna be next. I'm gonna try
Benno,
to
this
work
guy,
something
right?
out with Ben to see if we can fit him back in.
Let's have a look at this.
Okay, I'll leave you guys to it. Full disclosure,
Yeah.
I'm sure Zack's gonna tell you.
you're
Zack's
working
part of the company. That's why we have
Awkward silence is coming out
Max
here, bro.
on to kind of balance it out.
That's the only reason I actually approved this last minute, so thank you.
Okay, I'll leave you guys free to it.
Because
If anything,
I'll
I'll pop out on the screen.
I mean, I could handle it if you want to hang out, Max, and chime in. So I guess
That's
the first question, if someone's never heard of LiquidApps, how would you explain LiquidApps in your 1 or 2 minute elevator pitch?
All right, so first of all, hi everyone. We've been around for quite some time in EOS, I would say. Liquid EOS was the first company that was brought to life about the time that the EOS was launched, 3 weeks before that. But we were stealth mode a long time before. And we got to understand a lot of the problems that EOS holds currently, specifically in the resource scarcity. And it got Tal Muscal, the CTO, for a lot of problems into discovering a solution, actually, while trying to find a way to create a free airdrops mechanism back at the time. And we built a sort of second layer solution for EOS. And it's a patent pending currently. The interesting thing about it is that it was really important for us to create a working solution from day one. And in February 26th, we released the code for this second layer solution. And right now it allows DAPP developers to do a few things. First of them would be instead of using the EOS RAM, you can use what we call vRAM, which is essentially a way to create a cache layer out of the current RAM of EOS. I don't know how many of you know that, but RAM today costs around $250,000 per gigabyte. And that's, yeah, I see the eyebrows there. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And unless you have like either VC fund behind you, or you have a lot of RAM from the early days, it's really hard for that developer to actually build on top of EOS. And using vRAM today, you can do the same with a lot less. I know that AirDrop DAC right now, instead of using airdrops that cost around $30,000 for the airdrop, right now it would cost staking of DAPP tokens for the equivalent of $1,000.
Whoa, it's like 3,000% less.
And that's only for the airdrops. And you don't actually pay that; you stake it, just like in EOS and the BPs. So essentially, airdrop DAC in that sense are what we call a DSP, a DAPP service provider, which is kind of like a parallel thing for the BPs, where BPs are giving blocks, essentially. They're producing blocks. The DSPs can provide different services. So vRAM was the first implementation. A week and a half ago, we actually released something else, which are oracles and randomness generator. And Zach, do you want to give your
so we've talked about this a lot on Everything EOS. So the Oracle services, I think, are one of the most exciting things because you get a deterministic view of anything that is retrievable on the internet. So the possibilities are really, really endless with that. Like, it's such a broad thing that so many different projects needed, that we're really happy to finally release that service. And then the CRON service as well, which is basically a scheduled task of any kind of task. So whenever you're writing a smart contract currently, we have what's called a deferred transaction. But within the contract itself, there's a lot of things that could happen that could mess up that deferred transaction. It's not a perfect system for all things. It serves some purposes really well, but others not so well. So like the example I gave last week on Everything EOS was for a prediction market. So a prediction market like Predict, for example, if they wanted to retrieve the results for the 2020 presidential election, they could open up that prediction market today and then use the CRON service to not pull the answer to, they could basically use the web oracles to call multiple different APIs from every news source. That way it's as trusted as it's going to get. They could stake to multiple DSPs so that no one DSP is giving them the results, nor one API is giving them results. And then they use the CRON service to set a date for that prediction market to be finalized, for the answer to the question to be answered. And that would be done on a specific date at a specific time. And that would be done using the CRON services. So that's just like one example, but the possibilities are really endless. You could and
I watched the Everything EOS. I watched your show, man, and like I was like, it's literally blowing my mind. Like, carry on, dude. Awesome.
You didn't even mention the inter-blockchain communication using the oracles.
I was about to, but 1 second before that, I just realized, for those of you who do not know this project yet, when I speak about this with people, they actually try to compartmentalize it into a few things. It's either a sidechain or a centralized solution. So it's neither. Okay, it's a decentralized, trustless solution. And it's really hard for people to grasp because it's a new thing. It's never been done before. Because
you don't see it on any other chains. Like, I think EOS Weekly did a really good video, just like putting it into like a visual, like what the space looks like. And Tron doesn't have it. Ethereum obviously doesn't have it, other than scale. So LiquidApps is kind of like this weird middle ground where it's like, what is it? Yeah, I'm seeing where you're coming from here.
Exactly. And actually, one more thing I'm hearing, especially this last week since we launched Rex, and congratulations to us all. It's actually complementary to Rex. It's not instead. I live in Tel Aviv, and it's really expensive to buy a house in Tel Aviv, and actually to rent a house in Tel Aviv as well. But I see EOS as buy apartments only, like apartments being RAM. You need to buy RAM, but the limitation with the amount of apartments is still there. Okay, we still have only 90 gigs of RAM approximately. And until the end of 2019, it's going to be 128 gigabytes of RAM. How do you build the Facebook on top of 128 gigs of RAM? Okay, so Rex is amazing, and I'm so happy it exists, but it does not replace the need for infinite RAM. And that's where we come in.
That's where you come to the rescue. You're like the superhero, bro. The LiquidApps superhero of blockchain.
Actually, that's the DSPs. You know, we actually bring the code, we open source it, and the DSPs, you see them, and it's amazing, and it's so exciting to see these entities all around the world gathering around, building the DSP from scratch, and you know, struggle through the process. It's not an easy task. It's actually a bit easier than a DP, people tell me, but it's amazing, and we keep on pushing for this to be more known, because we believe it is the future.
I think, and I've been pretty open about this in the public LiquidApps channels, one of the things that has been lacking for I guess, awareness to be raised has been a DSP portal, a portal of services that presents the amount of DAPP tokens needed for specific services, and then a comparison of all of the other people providing those services. So up until now, the only way you'd be able to see that would be by knowing where to look in the contract tables of a block explorer like Blocks.io. But very recently, we did an AMA in the LiquidApps channel, and Beni announced a very big opportunity. Why don't you explain the bounty, because I don't know the numbers off the top of my head on this.
Yeah, so we just announced a grant, as Zack said, and it's kind of like a DSP Portal Build Challenge. It's essentially building a UI for staking, unstaking for DSPs, seeing the different DSPs. Each DSP has the opportunity to actually build different service packages. So it's like in a cellular company, when you go ahead and you want to buy a cellular package, and they ask you how long are you going to stay here and how many gigabytes of internet you need, kind of the same. So you can like, I need it for 1 week, I need 1 gigabyte, and the DSP can choose how do they price themselves. So what will be the minimum amount of DAPP needed in order for them to stake it? Yeah, I wouldn't hold it against you, Max. That's okay. It's like what was the boredom level? You know, Max left.
Well, I think the big.
I saw some food and I was like, I got to go get this food. And I'm joking.
I think the big message I want to portray here is that if you're considering building a DAPP and utilizing the DAPP network, or you're considering becoming a DSP yourself, or you're already a DSP yourself, this is an opportunity to collect a bounty to get a head start into the network. And you don't have to be a DSP to participate in this bounty. You're basically just building a front end that uses the EOS blockchain as its database with the DAPP services account contract, and all of the data is pulled to your front end. You don't really need a fancy database architecture. You just need a front end that could do some nice filtering, searches, comparisons, and it shouldn't be outside of most people's means. And who are all the judges, Beni, on this?
We actually didn't announce the judges yet, but I can say that they're pretty well high profile, and we do consider the community vote as a big part of it. It's really important, I think. And the grant itself is up to 1.5 million DAPP tokens, which is not a small amount. It's divided by the 3 top rankings, and I hope the best one wins. You know, I'm really looking forward to see all of these projects coming together, and everybody can actually participate. I can send the Google form for the. I'll send the Medium post in this nice forum here.
If you guys have any questions as well, put your questions now, because LiquidApps are here, guys. Come on,
thing.
I just thank you. Just what you guys are building is so big. Like, it's because, you know, at the moment, you know, with the mass adoption is like the main thing, and what you guys are building is what's going to bring mass adoption. And all of this back end stuff, it can kind of go unseen. Like if you're just someone who's a user, but under the workings of LiquidApps, it's just crazy progress.
Whoa, someone's got some noise pollution here.
Is it me?
Is that me?
I don't know if it's a dog or someone.
Is it working?
No, it's not. I think it's. I think I think one of the lesser known things about LiquidApps is the genius that is Tal Muscal, the CTO. And I can't emphasize that enough. I mean, I love Beni, but Tal is one of the big reasons I said yes to joining the LiquidApps team. So like I've been doing everything EOS for over a year now, and obviously I'm a big Dan Larimer fanboy. I look up to him. I think everything he most of what he puts out and does is of genius. I agree with most of it. But Tal, I learned very quickly from meeting him at the San Francisco Hackathon, and then Beni, myself, my friend Peter, and Tal, we had like a 3-hour call one time. And by the end of that call, I was like, oh my God, Tal is like, with Dan, I can't even say which one's above the other at this point, but it is 1A and 1B as far as two of the smartest people in the EOS ecosystem. And I just want to put that out there because he blows my mind every day, just like talking to him and learning from him. And the fact that yesterday was Star Wars Day with May the 4th, Tal is Yoda, basically. Tal is the Yoda of EOS.io. I don't know what you would call Dan, the king, but Tal is the Yoda.
Definitely.
And I just want to ask one question to Beni about LiquidApps, like about the DSPs. Sorry if you say that, but how many do you think there's going to be like overall? Do you think it's going to be like, do you think it's going to be more like there'll be like 3 or 4 big DSPs, or will it be like hundreds of thousands, like not hundreds of thousands, but will it be thousands of DSPs into the future? What do you see?
It's a really good question. And I think it's not being asked enough, because the interesting about the DSP, there are infinite amount of services you can actually give in a way that the DSP is working. It can be resources as we do right now, but let's give you an example of something that I think will answer your question quite well. You have a media channel. And what if you would like to have a premium channel, like something in addition to your normal channel? You can create a DSP, and you can have people stake towards your media channel in order to get to the premium account. So it's not like you're not giving the normal material, but you do have some premium content, even something that actually people can see before the rest. Okay,
like a Patreon.
Like a Patreon.
Or
and
Patreon.
You can do that. You can do that. It's a V Patreon, and you can do that using a DSP. And it's only one solution. I'm actually speaking with teams that are going to be KYC DSPs, and I'm not going to give everything here because some of them will probably kill me. But there are multiple ways in order to utilize the DSP. So it's resources on one hand and everything you can imagine on the other hand. And when you get that, I'm assuming a lot of DSPs.
Yeah, because I was thinking if you have a small amount of DSPs, it could be like an issue because it's like it becomes a little bit centralized, right? Because it's like then you have to go and get all of your calls from one DSP, but there might even be 3 or 4. But if there's hundreds and hundreds, it's going to be really interesting to see it play out. Like, because I'm not as technical enough to like see it. Like you're the one who, like, if you, I don't know what it's going to be like, but it's going to be interesting to see.
It's true.
The way
it's
I
like
picture it is everyone with a DAPP could probably do themselves a service by looking into or considering being their own DSP. For example, we gave the Oracle example earlier, and you could ask as many different DSPs as you want for those API calls. But you could also be running your own DSP and compare those answers against yourself because you're not lying to yourself. And as far as to your audience, it's not just asking yourself to your users. Your users see that you're just part of maybe 7, 10, 20, 1,000 different DSP Oracle services. So,
EOS Weekly. Weekly.
Okay, guys, sorry, I'm gonna have to interrupt. You gotta keep on the schedule. Great conversation. Please do drop some links so people will find them, Telegram groups, etc., etc. So yeah,
you guys are too interesting. Like you're too good.
Thank you.
I'm here all day.
We can continue this on a one-to-one, Max.
Yeah,
exactly.
I really want to talk. Yeah, cool.
Sure thing.
Okay, thank you very much, Beni, for coming on such last minute. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
See you, Beni.
See you,
Bye.
Beni.